Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Evan Calder knew he had made a mistake the moment the room went silent. Not quiet. Silent. The kind of silence that felt heavy. The kind that pressed on your chest and made your brain whisper, something is very wrong. Dozens of alien faces turned toward him at the same time. Some had glowing eyes. Some had too many eyes. One had no visible eyes at all, but still, somehow looked directly at him. Evan stood there in glowing ceremonial robes that felt like they had been designed by someone who hated the human body. He gave a small, nervous smile. He whispered out of the corner of his mouth. Why is everyone staring at me? Next to him, Ambassador Helen Brooks of Earth slowly turned her head. Her expression looked like someone had just told her gravity had stopped working. Evan, she said carefully, what did you just agree to? I thought she asked if I supported the treaty, he said. Ambassador Brooks closed her eyes. Oh no. A job he was never supposed to have. 3 days earlier, Evan Calder had been in a small office on Luna Station, arguing with a coffee machine. He was not a hero. He was not a soldier. He was not a diplomat. He was a junior linguistic analyst. He studied alien languages, cultural speech patterns, and communication structures. His normal workday involved translating recordings, writing reports, eating lunch alone while watching space documentaries. Then Human Resources had sent him a message. Temporary reassignment, urgent diplomatic need. He assumed it was a mistake. It was. But by the time anyone realized, he was already on a shuttle headed to Unity Spire, the largest diplomatic station ever built. And now he was standing in the middle of a ceremony involving more alien species than he had ever seen outside a textbook. The station at the edge of trouble. Unity Spire orbited near a strange region of space where several star systems overlapped gravitational fields. It was neutral territory, chosen because no single civilization controlled it. The station itself looked like a tower of crystal and light stretching into space. Its walls curved like flowing water. Platforms floated with no visible support. Hallways shifted gently as if the structure were alive. Evan had gotten lost 3 times on the way to his sleeping quarters. Today, the Grand Assembly Chamber glowed with soft, shifting colors. Delegates from across the galaxy filled the space. Tall beings made of living stone. Floating jellyfish-like scholars. Armored insect warriors wearing medals. Humans in stiff formal uniforms, trying not to look overwhelmed. And then there were the Aurelians. The Aurelians. They were tall and graceful, their skin faintly glowing like moonlight under glass. Lines of soft light moved beneath their surface, pulsing slowly like a second heartbeat. Their eyes shone violet, their ears swept back in elegant arcs. They did not rush, they did not fidget, they did not show fear. They were one of the oldest known civilizations. And today's ceremony existed because of them. A peace agreement between the Aurelians and younger species was being finalized. It would open trade routes, share technology, and stabilize this dangerous region of space. Evan had been told his role was simple. Stand with the human delegation, smile politely, do not speak unless required. He had planned to follow that instruction very carefully. The princess everyone was afraid of. At the center of the chamber stood Princess Liari, heir to the Aurelian Concord. Evan had read about her on the way here. She had commanded fleets in defensive wars. She had negotiated treaties that stopped invasions. She had published scientific theories humans were still trying to understand. She was known for being calm, logical, and impossible to intimidate. Looking at her now, Evan understood why. She stood perfectly still, hands folded, light flowing gently beneath her skin. Her gaze moved across the gathered delegates with quiet focus. Other representatives avoided eye contact. One large reptilian diplomat was visibly sweating. Evan leaned toward Ambassador Brooks earlier and whispered, "Why does everyone look like they're waiting for bad news?" She had answered quietly, "Because Princess Liari must choose a unity bond today." Like a symbolic partnership, Evan asked. Brooks hesitated just long enough to worry him. Not symbolic. The glitch that changed everything. Evan's translation implant had worked perfectly all week. Until the ceremony began. Unity Spire orbited near unstable stellar energy. Radiation waves interfered with signals. Now alien speech reached him in broken fragments. Some words came late. Some turned into musical tones. He tapped the device behind his ear. "Come on, please don't fail now." That was when the chamber fell silent. Princess Liari began walking through the delegates. One by one. She stopped before each representative. She spoke. They responded nervously. She moved on. Evan assumed this was a formal greeting ritual. Then she stopped in front of him. The moment. Up close, Princess Liari's presence was overwhelming. Her eyes focused on him completely. Not cold, not warm, just intensely aware. She spoke. Her voice sounded like layered music. Evan's implant struggled. Accept shared future resonance, binding path. He panicked. This felt important, ceremonial, diplomatic. He did what humans often do when confused in formal situations. He smiled politely and said, "Yes." The reaction. A metal delegate dropped its recording device. A floating scholar made a high-pitched noise. Ambassador Brooks whispered, "Oh no, no, no." Princess Liari froze. Her eyes widened slightly. Energy lines lit up in the floor. Floating crystals activated, recording. Evan blinked. "Did I say it wrong?" Brooks leaned in, voice shaking. "You just accepted a life bond unity with the Aurelian heir." "I'm sorry," Evan said faintly. "A what?" "Law older than humanity." An Aurelian official stepped forward. Witnesses confirmed, acceptance recorded, resonance claim acknowledged. Evan raised his hands. "My translator glitched. I didn't understand." The official's voice remained calm. In Aurelian law, words spoken in ceremony are binding. Intention cannot be measured. Action can. Brooks whispered urgently, "If we reject this, it could shatter the treaty." Evan felt like the floor had dropped away. "I just came here to take notes." Princess Liari still watched him. Not angry. Curious. Alone with the princess. Minutes later, Evan stood in a quiet chamber with Princess Liari. No crowds, no witnesses, just a curved wall showing distant stars. She spoke slowly so his implant could follow. "Your device malfunctioned." "Yes," he said quickly, "very much." "I suspected. Your behavior showed confusion." "You could tell." "I study behavior. It is rare for others to be unreadable." He ran a hand through his hair. "So, what happens now?" "In 7 cycles, the bond must be completed. Until then, we undergo compatibility preparation." "Like cultural lessons?" "Yes." "I am going to fail alien marriage school." To his surprise, light flickered along her cheek, the Aurelian version of amusement. "You were the only one who did not look at me with fear." "I was afraid of my clothes." "That still counts." A new problem appears. A soft alarm pulsed through the station. Liari turned her head slightly. The light under her skin shifted color. "External sensors detect incoming vessels," she said. "Guests?" Evan asked hopefully. "No, warships." He stared at her. "You're kidding." The Corthan Dominion opposes this treaty. They may intend to stop it. Through the window, tiny flashes appeared among the stars. Ships exiting faster than light travel. Too many. Evan swallowed hard. So I accidentally bonded with an alien princess. Yes. And now we might be under attack. Yes. He nodded slowly. Okay, I would like to go back to my desk job now. I do not believe events will allow that, Liari said. The end of normal. Emergency signals echoed through Unity Spire. Delegates rushed through glowing corridors. Defense systems powered up. Energy shields flickered to life around the station. The peace ceremony no longer mattered. Evan stood beside Princess Liari, watching distant flashes of light grow brighter. 3 days ago, his biggest worry had been a broken coffee machine. Now he was accidentally bonded to alien royalty, in the center of a political crisis, possibly about to witness a space battle. He exhaled slowly. Princess. Yes, Evan called her. If we survive this. Yes. You are definitely explaining what I actually agreed to. Soft light pulsed across her skin again. Agreed, she said. Outside, the first weapon's fire lit up the stars. And Evan Calder's quiet life officially ended. Unity Spire had been built as a symbol of peace. Now it was about to become a battlefield. Red warning lights pulsed along the curved corridors. Soft diplomatic lighting vanished, replaced by emergency illumination. Delegates rushed in every direction, floating, stomping, gliding, slithering. The calm, graceful station felt suddenly small. Evan Calder stood beside Princess Liari on a high observation platform, staring out through a transparent shield wall at the stars beyond. Except the stars were disappearing. One by one, they were blocked by dark shapes sliding into position. Corthan warships. Long, jagged vessels covered in heavy armor plating, bristling with weapon arrays. They moved with the confidence of a species that had never needed permission to take what it wanted. Evan swallowed. So that's bad, right? Yes, Liari said calmly, that is bad. The species that only understood force. The Corthan Dominion believed in strength above all else. In their history, treaties were tricks used by the weak. Cooperation meant control. Peace meant submission. The Aurelian Alliance threatened that worldview. If younger species united peacefully, the Corthans would lose their advantage. So they had come to stop the treaty. By force. A deep vibration passed through Unity Spire as the station's shields expanded into a glowing sphere. Outside, the first Corthan shot streaked forward, lines of white-hot energy that splashed against the shields like lightning against glass. The impact shook the entire structure. Evan grabbed the railing. Okay, he said, voice tight, new plan. What's the survival strategy here? Liari's eyes tracked data, only she could see through embedded neural links. Station defenses will hold briefly, but Unity Spire was designed for diplomacy, not war. Great design choice, love that. She turned to him fully. I require your assistance. Evan blinked. I translate languages, I don't fight space empires. Your species excels at unconventional problem solving. That's a polite way to say, we do stupid things that sometimes work. Yes, she said, that. The human brain problem. They moved quickly through corridors as security drones flew past. Liari explained while walking. Corthan ships use synchronized targeting networks. Each vessel shares sensor data, forming one combined firing system. Like a hive mind, Evan asked. Similar, it makes them extremely accurate. So we jam it. Standard jamming fails, their signals adapt. Evan's mind raced. He wasn't a soldier, but he was a pattern analyst, a linguistics expert, someone trained to find meaning in chaos. How fast do they adapt? He asked. Milliseconds. Good, Evan muttered. That is not usually considered good. For computers, that's fast. For living minds, it's predictable. She tilted her head. Explain. They're not random, they're reacting, which means they follow logic trees. We don't need to overpower them. He stopped walking, eyes widening. We just need to confuse them. Weaponized confusion. They reached a control nexus, where Aurelian technicians worked in glowing holographic interfaces. Liari gestured to Evan. He has a proposal. Several alien heads turned skeptically. Evan took a breath. Your enemy relies on clean, logical signal patterns, right? Target vectors, shield frequencies, formation math. Yes, one technician said. Cool, we're going to give them garbage. Silence. Not random noise, Evan said quickly. That's easy to filter. We send structured nonsense, patterns that almost make sense, signals that look like real targeting data but contradict each other. Liari's eyes brightened. Cognitive overload, she said softly. Exactly. We treat their network like a brain forced to read 1,000 half-finished sentences at once. One technician hesitated. This is psychological warfare against machines. Evan gave a tight smile. Welcome to human internet comment sections. We've trained for this. The first human attack. Aurelian systems began transmitting Evan's linguistic interference patterns toward the Corthan fleet. Streams of false telemetry, fake shield harmonics, phantom weapon signatures, ghost ships appearing and vanishing. Outside, the battle shifted. Several Corthan ships fired and missed completely. Others turned shields toward threats that didn't exist. One vessel collided with another while trying to avoid a fake energy surge. Liari watched, astonished. Their formation is destabilizing. Evan gripped the console edge. Don't stop, layer it, make it messy. Technicians added more false data, but carefully structured, like language with broken grammar. The Corthan network began to lag. For the first time, they weren't perfectly synchronized. But it was enough. A massive Corthan command ship moved forward, larger than the others, covered in heavier shielding. They are isolating control, Liari said. That vessel is switching to independent command to cut through interference. Meaning they will resume accurate fire shortly. The giant ship's main weapon began charging, a sphere of energy forming at its center. Target Unity Spire. Evan's stomach dropped. How long until it fires? 2 minutes, Liari said. That's not a lot of time to invent a miracle. She looked at him steadily. Humans specialize in miracles under pressure. No, we specialize in panicking productively. Then panic. The idea that shouldn't work. Evan stared at the tactical display. A thought tickled the back of his brain. Ridiculous, impossible. Perfect. What if, he said slowly, we don't attack their systems? Liari waited. What if we talk to them? Several technicians made confused sounds. The Corthans do not negotiate mid-battle, one said. I don't mean diplomacy, Evan said. I mean we shove language into their command channels. They will ignore it. Not if we make it impossible to ignore. He looked at Liari. Your species communicates with layered emotional resonance, right? Yes. And Corthans evolved as pack predators with dominance hierarchies. Yes. Evan grinned, a little wild. Cool. We're about to yell at them in a language evolution never prepared them for. The human broadcast. Using every transmitter on Unity Spire, they sent a focused signal directly at the Corthan command ship. Not threats. Not logic. Emotionally layered Aurelian resonance patterns, translated and amplified through human chaotic modulation. It was part music, part alarm, part social signal, part absolute nonsense. To humans, it sounded like distorted whale song mixed with radio static. To Aurelians, it felt like emotional noise. To the Corthans, it was overwhelming. Their command ship's weapon charge flickered. Inside, Corthan neural interfaces, designed for tactical clarity, were suddenly flooded with signals that triggered instinctive responses. Dominance challenges, distress calls, mating signals, territorial alarms. All at once, their biological command crew couldn't filter it. The weapons shut down. Several Corthan ships drifted out of formation. The turning point. Aurelian defense fleets, previously holding back to protect civilians, surged forward. With Corthan coordination shattered, precision strikes disabled weapons, engines, and shields. Not killing, disarming. Within minutes, the once terrifying fleet was a cluster of crippled ships. Retreat signals pulsed from the command vessel. The remaining Corthan ships fled into faster-than-light jumps, dragging disabled craft with them. Silence returned to space. Unity's spire still stood. Aftermath. Emergency lights faded, damaged crews spread out. Delegates slowly emerged from shelters, stunned. Evan leaned against a wall and slid down to sit on the floor. "My brain hurts." Liari knelt gracefully beside him. "You weaponized misunderstanding," she said softly. "Humans have a lot of experience with that." She studied him with open curiosity. "You turned weakness into strength. We call it winging it." Light shimmered across her skin, warm this time. The bond revisited. Later, in a quiet observation garden filled with glowing alien plants, Liari stood beside him again. "The Council has ruled," she said. "Your acceptance remains valid." Evan sighed. "I figured. But it will not be forced," she added. "Aurelian bonds require mutual willingness." He blinked. "So I get a choice." "Yes." He looked out at the stars, peaceful now. "I came here by accident," he said slowly. "I said yes by mistake." "Yes. But saving everyone, that part I meant." She waited. He took a breath. "Okay," Evan said. "Let's see where this goes, on purpose this time." For the first time, Liari smiled in a fully human-readable way. "Agreed," Evan called her of Earth. A new beginning. News of the battle spread across the galaxy. Not about weapons. Not about fleets. But about a human who fought a war with confusion, emotion, and creative nonsense. Species that feared the Aurelians now saw their restraint. Species that doubted humans now saw their strange strength. The treaty was signed one cycle later. This time, when Liari stood before Evan in ceremony, his translator worked perfectly. "Do you choose to walk a shared path?" she asked. He smiled. "Yes." And this time, he knew exactly what he meant. The end.